Close your eyes for a moment. And I want you to picture the most impactful or powerful leader that you know. As your eyes are closed, chances are that you are developing an image of a religious or political figure. Some of us are seeing a civil rights activist, perhaps a teacher, a mentor, a friend, an artist, someone that has made an undeniable impact on your life. Now open your eyes and sit with this question. What if I told you that the person that you just saw, that their title, their accomplishments, their accolades, all these things that you know them to be, that created them into this leader, are not solely what defines them as a leader? Though impressive, what if I told you that the person they became, the person that they are now, are not truly what qualifies them as a leader? It is rather the person that they were in the process of becoming. That simply means that leadership is not defined by the point of arrival, but leadership is defined by the process of becoming. Today, I want to elevate our perspective concerning leadership. For far too long, we have seen leadership as a point of arrival, the person that has made it. But what if we were able to open our mindset and embrace leadership as a journey of evolving growth so that each and every one of us can embrace the process of becoming? October 2023, I am stepping into my senior year of high school. I'm ready to have a good time. The dates on the calendar are marked off to spend with my classmates and friends. I am preparing for senior picture. The college applications are being submitted as I have completed writing my college essays. I'm prepared to have a good time and cap off my 4 years of high school, living life to the fullest, preparing to go to the next level in education. However, one day I get a call from my church. The call was from our director of ministries, and he said to me, "Roderick, we'd like you to become our youth pastor." Now, if you think back to your senior year of high school, chances are you were not spending your Friday nights in trampoline parks with students. You weren't spending your Friday nights at elementary and middle school plays. But that became my reality very quickly, as I had to get up on Sunday mornings and try to preach and teach to peers my age, to cradle babies in a nursery, and also lead a team of volunteers who were old enough to be either my parent or grandparent. It was an interesting time in my life. But I remember this season of my life being especially humbling. It was humbling because I was struggling personally. I was responsible for ushering growth and helping other students find out who they were becoming, while also doing it for myself. I knew nothing about helping babies and being able to teach them the gospel at such a young age. I did not know nothing about leading a team of people 2 and 3 generations ahead of myself. I struggled professionally. But then one day, in a team meeting with our team of volunteers, I'll never forget, one of our volunteer leaders said something that I've carried with me. We were trying to strategize, set our budget, and figure things out, but also see how we can collaborate as a team. And she said something to me. She said, "Roderick, we just want someone to lead us." This coming after the transition of many youth leaders before. She said, "Roderick, we just want someone to lead us." And that day, something began to shift on the inside of me. It began to shift because I thought, they weren't asking for a perfect leader. They weren't asking for someone who was polished. They weren't asking for someone who knew everything. They were asking for someone to do life with them. They were asking for someone to partner with them in ministry. They were asking for someone to care for them and to listen to them. And ever since that day, I have struggled with the pressure to perform, but a shocking revelation comes after that. Because now I have realized that the world does not need perfect leaders. The world needs leaders who are committed to evolving, that have the courage to evolve, to step out when they don't know something, to be able to sit back and listen. So the question then becomes, who is an evolving leader? An evolving leader is someone that understands that leadership is not the point of arrival, but leadership is the point of becoming. It's the leader who learns while listening. It's the leader that grows while giving. It is the leader who has the ability to care, to listen, to adapt, to be able to fail, but also get back up and try again. That's who an evolving leader is. An evolving leader is someone who has the courage to become even when they are not present in the room with a title or a nameplate. If we know who an evolving leader is, what is this idea that we're trying to culminate and share together? What is evolving leadership? Evolving leadership is a mindset and a movement. It is the conviction that leadership is not about perfection. Leadership is not about pretending. Leadership is about process and progression. Well, let's compare and contrast today. Tradition says that leaders are defined by perfection and certainty, but evolving leadership says that leaders ought to embrace vulnerability and questions and be adaptable and ready to go and grow. Tradition says that leaders are hierarchical and distant, but evolving leadership says that leaders should be accessible, they should be collaborative, they should be willing and present. Tradition says that leaders ought to be focused on control, but evolving leadership says that everyone has a seat at the table and that everyone's opinions are valued and everyone has a contribution when it comes to continual growth. Hear me today. Leadership isn't something you wait to grow into, but leadership is something that you grow through. Leadership isn't something you wait to grow into, it's something you grow through. And I'm not the only one saying these things. Clay Scroggins, a pastor turned leadership author, writes in his infamous book, How to Lead When You're Not in Charge. He writes in this book, influence always outpaces authority. Influence always outpaces authority. If you have a title, but you don't have the character to match it, then what does your title mean? If you're not able to connect with people, if you're not able to influence people, then what does your title mean? Because influence always outpaces authority. Influence always outpaces authority. And he challenges a myth that you have to have a seat at the table to lead, but he encourages each and every one of us and says, hey, leaders, you don't have to wait till they give you the corner office. You don't have to wait till they approve of you or give you the applause, but each and every one of us have the right to lead right where we are with what we have, whether or not somebody gives us a pat on the back. That's evolving leadership. Okay, well, let's take Greta Thunberg, for instance, that young, fiery Swedish activist who at just the age of 15 skipped school to go and protest at her country's parliament. She protested, and now she has been on global platforms ranging from the United Nations to the World Economic Forum. And she reminds these leaders that your purpose is not bound by your age. She once said in a speech, she said, you are never too small to make a difference. And I would like to add to that today and say that none of us are too small. None of us are too young. But here is the collective piece. None of us are even too far along on our journey to make a difference. How can each and every one of us embody evolving leadership? How can each and every one of us embody evolving leadership? Glad you asked. No one is disqualified from growth. No one. Not you, not you, not you, not you. No one is disqualified from growth. Meaning that I believe and I am under the persuasion that evolving leadership can be embraced from baby boomers all the way down to Generation Alpha. How can this be done? That's such a broad range. I'm glad you asked again. Evolving leadership can be seen in 3 phases, and chances are each and every one of you sitting here today fall into one of these 3 phases. Number 1 is evolving. Repeat after me. Say, leadership starts with me. Come on, you got to say it with courage. Tap yourself. Leadership starts with me. This is where the becoming happens. It is in the evolving process that you begin to look at yourself in the mirror and say that I am responsible for my growth. I'll never forget this past September, I experienced burnout for the first time. Now look, I've been tired before, but burnout is real. If you've ever been burnt out, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Burnout is real. I was undergoing transition in various areas of my life, and it felt like, though the pruning process was beneficial, but the growing pains of life felt like they were literally killing me and stretching me. Y'all, it was so bad I didn't talk to my grandmother for a month. I'm glad my siblings aren't here, because I felt like I was going to lose my favorite grandchild status. When I showed up at her door one day, I thought she may have saw a ghost. But we just celebrated her 85th today, and she's in here. Yeah, we can clap for that. But yeah, my family didn't know what was going on with me. My friends didn't know what was going on with me. And I experienced burnout. But the point is, when I experienced this burnout, I was able to learn a valuable lesson at this young age that will be beneficial for me along the way, and that I hope can help you too. That leaders ought not produce to be well, but leaders ought to be well to produce. Leaders ought not produce to be well, but leaders ought to be well to produce. That simply means that I believe that a lot of us convince ourselves that the workload will satisfy us, that the check mark on the to-do list will satisfy us, that the applause or the approval, that those things will satisfy us. But that's not the truth. We have to put ourselves at the forefront in the evolving process and begin to ask, what habits am I building? What traits am I building? What do I need to learn from? What do I need to heal from? What do I need to release? It's in the evolving process that we all become our best selves, because leadership starts with you. Moving along, phase 2, if you're not evolving, you're in the evolution process. This is the shaping. This is where you bring the internal work, and now you bring a community piece with it. Though leadership starts with you, no one evolves alone. You've got to have that Bill Withers spirit that says, lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. Everybody needs someone to lean on. This is that friend that tells you the hard truth you don't want to listen to. This is that team that is challenging you to communicate better, to show up better, to be able to execute at a level of excellence. This is that mentor that stretches you beyond your comfort zones and challenges you in ways that you could not imagine. No one evolves alone, and leaders must be able to receive feedback. If your leadership cannot be tested, it cannot be trusted. If your leadership cannot be tested, then it cannot be trusted, because tested and trusted leadership is proven. That's number 2, evolution. If you're not evolving, if you're not in the evolution, chances are that you fall right into the revolution. Now look, revolution is not about chaos, okay? But it's about transformation. This is where now you say, who did I make better because of my work? When I leave this space that I enter into, when I finish my work in this space, was somebody more valued? Was somebody more seen? Did somebody feel heard because of my presence in the room? Who am I giving back to? Who am I pouring into? Who is seeing something in me that they can now see in themselves? Each of us have a legacy to leave, and I'm thinking about it. Even at a younger age, not in a distant, dramatic manner, not that way, not legacy in that way, but in the everyday impact that I'm allowed to make. Was someone made better because of my influence? Not my authority, but was someone made better because of my influence? And how can I take another step? And that's where we leave today. How can you embrace evolving leadership? How can you become an evolving leader? It's simple, not shallow. Take another step. For someone today, this step is going to be an internal step. You're going to look at yourself in the mirror and say, hey, let's fix this. Let's get this right this time. Let's make a difference in my life. Maybe it's reconciling with someone you hurt. Hey, that was wrong. I need to apologize. This is telling the truth to yourself that you've been running from. So take another step. For someone else, this step is going to be relational. That's opening up yourself to connect with other people, opening up yourself to receive feedback, opening up yourself to learn something new, to try it a different way. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same result, right? But relational is being open to somebody else's feedback so you can make a difference. And lastly, this next step for somebody today is going to be making an impact. If you can't invest with your money, can you invest your time? If you can't show up this way, can you show up that way? If you can't show off and give this, can you at least be cognitive enough to be present in the moment with people when they need you? I've learned in my life that you don't know who is on the other side of your yes. Because you say yes to your business plan, because you say yes to your goal, because you say yes and are obedient to whatever area of your life that you're striving to do, someone else can be impacted by that if you just take another step. And to end the same way we began, close your eyes again. And I want you to get that picture in your head of that leader that you saw. But I want you to develop a new image in your head now. That person is you. No, not you with the stacked resume or CV. Not you with the salary that you desire. Not you with the job you desire. None of those things. But I want you to see you at this stage in your life with your questions, with your curiosity, with your story, with your past and present, but with your future in mind. Open your eyes again. If you remember nothing else from our time together today, continue to go back to that image and let that be the thing that allows you to strive to evolve. Why should we evolve? Don't wait till you arrive. Don't wait till you get the position. Don't wait till you get the office. Don't wait till they say yes or no. But take charge of your narrative. Take control of your life. And muster yourself up to step into courage and say, I'm an evolving leader. I will make an impact. Because evolving leaders will, can, and do change the world. Thank you.